Hello, Charles Sturt and IT Master students. Welcome to EC Council Network Security Administrator class shortcuts week 2. My name is still Erdal. That didn't change in the last week. My contact details are still the same. Didn't change. So, very quick reminder. If you have any question about the course or course content, please use the form to ask. Unless you want to ask something private or something which you don't want to share, then use my email address, because I had really lots of emails last week. Most of them are regarding the course, so it's for me much easier to answer all the questions from the form. Probably you noticed I'm usually active in the forum. I'm trying to answer all the questions. Sometimes fast, sometimes a bit slower, but I'm doing my best to answer them. So for this week, we did upload some slides for you already, and some demo regarding last week, how you can build your virtual lab. This week's session is going to be uploaded right after this class, so you should be able to go and download the slides, and tomorrow the video recording is going to be ready for you. Of course, I'm talking about Australia time. So, quick reminder again, if you have any questions, please use the form. And if you signed up for many other courses in our system, of course, you're going to use the Network Security Administrator certifications, and you can just go and, for example, go to week 2, download the materials. You can see the schedule. You can, if you have any questions, you can click in the discussion form, and from there, usually I'm answering all the questions that we can see here, which was, I think, a screenshot from last night. Okay, what are we covering today? First of all, I would like to mention one thing. I usually use this in all my conferences. Some of you did notice I got an accent. Yes, I do know that. Don't worry, I know that I'm not speaking the best English in the whole world. But seriously, the accent is not my fault. Let me tell you why. My parents are Turkish, okay? So for my name, for my inherit is Turkish. But I was born and grew up in Germany, living in Australia for the last 13 years, and this is what's coming out. So I'm trying to do my best to make my language a bit more understandable. But sometimes I know I got a couple of words which you might have difficulties to understand. If you get something like that, please feel free to use the chat box or the question box, and I'm more than happy to repeat the thing. I'm just increasing the microphone volume. I hope you can hear me now better. Okay, yes, you can download the PowerPoint presentation as well. So what I'm going to do is, James Hale here for my team masters is with me. He's going to answer most of the questions for you, as it's really hard for me to talk and keep an eye on the questions, especially when we have hundreds of people logged in and thousands of people registered for the class. I'm still going to stop every here and there, ask James if there's any questions which I missed, and I'm going to try to answer these questions. Regarding last week I know there was not too much to, I think I didn't talk about it. So this week we have little bit two sessions. One is the theory, but the second one is full hands-on, and I already recorded some demonstrations which you're going to love, and I think I'm going to do some demo live during the class here as well, depending on our timing. Alright, first of all, what is the Internet standard? As in everything, when Internet was developed, they needed a standard to make it possible to create and implement and to make Internet working fine. It was developed by IETF, which is the Internet Engineering Task Force, and then the IESG group took over. The Internet standards are there to provide security measures for the data on the Internet. I think most of us do know that we have now different organizations such as ISO, IEEE, and other organizations which takes care of standards. So I did mention IEEE. What is this IEEE? Basically, this is the board who selects and rejects the IEEE standards based on its standard review committee. What they do is they have a representative from each country, or most of the countries, which have one voting right. People sit down, they talk about the request, they work on the projects, they call it draft. As soon as they approve something, it will be published on the website, and then it will become a standard. Of course, they also work with outdated standards, which they work on as well, and they remove it. So why am I covering this? I know it's not the most exciting topic, because it is in the exam. Not just this exam, it is also in the real ENSA exam. And you might see some questions about that. So what I've done is last week, probably you noticed, again, I apologize for upload the study material a bit late. It was my fault, and I would like also apologize for the introduction last week. I think during the introduction, some of you did not like the couple of the pictures. To be honest, I just wanted to add some fun on it. I just received a couple of emails. All what I can say is, seriously, there was no aim for me to make a sexual harassment or anybody feeling bad. All I was trying to do is have some humor. While I got in mind, I do apologize if you did get offended, and I'll make sure this kind of content is not going to be up again there, which has nothing to do with the university. It was my own thought to add it in to have some fun. So, sorry again for that. So, as you can see, I did not follow the standards, which, because usually a university standard will not have an image like that. I did not follow the standard, which did I offend possibly a few of you, and that's why I have to apologize. So, what is the committee doing? The committee is making sure that people doesn't have to apologize. It's not about apologizing. People don't get out of the standard and they follow a certain rule. Okay, so as you know, the Internet was made possible by the creation and implementation of the Internet Standards. The Internet Standards is providing us security. The IEEE Standard Board will select and reject the standards based on its board. The RFC contains the technical and organization documents of the Internet. RFCs can be obtained via FTP, via venera.isc.edu website, and since 1980, we use the Telecommunication Industry Association standard, which is used also with cabling as well. Okay, good news. The boring stuff is over. Now we're going to talk about real stuff. Real stuff that you're going to enjoy and hopefully you're going to learn. First of all, I want you to keep in mind security policies. Okay, if you are the guy who's writing the policies, they're a bit boring. But if you're the guy who's affected by the policy, they're annoying. But let me tell you this. Security standard is a must. Security policy in a company is a must. So, why? Because it is an action plan on handling security issues, or it is set of regulations for maintaining certain low level of security. As I mentioned in all my talks, if you came to my talk at Hacker Halted, EC Council Hacker Halted, I did mention it there. If you came to my talk at Sturt 2012, I did mention it there, or any tech across the world, I did mention it. I do mention it always. Policies are used to manage the security of the data, the network, the infrastructure, and the valuable information assets. But nothing will make you 100% secure. Remember, last week I did mention a golden rule. It's impossible to stop a hacker. All what we can do is make their job harder. Okay, our objective. I'm repeating, each standard stands by CIA. Last week I did mention it quickly. CIA is not that security confidentiality, whatever, which the American agency is. We are talking here of confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Last week, if you watched the video, I did talk about it in detail. Keep in mind, each security policy is based on that. So, the company data should be confidential. It should be kept as it's been created in the original way, and it should be available to the company employees or customers based on the policies. So, what is the concept of a security policy? A security policy, as I said, is object and rules. How should the end user or the admins behave? It is clarifying how you or your end users or your employees or yourself, as I said, should use the company policies. How should you work against threats? Basically, it is making some standards to make sure that everybody is safe or everybody works as one to achieve better security results. First of all, keep in mind, each security policy should be clearly communicated. So, it doesn't happen in primary school. You know, if someone was called, teachers catching you while you're speaking, he said, "Oh, but everybody's speaking." Yeah, but you know the rule. Only the guy who's been caught will be in trouble. So, if you don't want issues like that, but everybody's going to the internet, for example, or everybody is playing Farmville. No, these days everybody's playing Candy Crush, right? On Facebook, what you can do is you can create screen messages. You can let people sign the company policy, which describes what is allowed and what's not allowed. You should have a scope. You should have an applicable level. Remember, last week we spoke about it. We had a security triangle. We said security, ease of use, and functionality. If you make something too secure, it was going to be harder to use, less functional. So our job was to define a scope which is applicable. Don't forget, the laws are more important than your policies. You should always check the laws as well. In Australia, the best way to do that is to check australia.gov. Here we go. Let's go to australia.gov.au. Alright. Should just work. Just working before the class. Okay. .gov.au. It's working now. Here we go. This is the web page which you should take it as reference, not for visitors. Also, basically, you can come and go to the policies publications and see what is applicable for you or not. You can just go and look in the different topics. For example, if you're an employee, if you are a student, or if you, whatever you are, basically all the information is given to you here, which includes also information security services rules as well. I think we understand why we need a security policy. First of all, to reduce risk. Yes. We need also to do a risk assessment. Yes, the risk assessment should be done based on ISO 27005. So you should assess the consequences and the possibilities, basically, to find out if something can hit the organization or not. You should be able to see what is allowed, what's not, if something is legal or illegal, if same level of users have different rights. So your job is to make a standard security policy which will protect your company against, your company and your employees from third parties, and it's your job to have an integrity and authorized use of data processing operations. Why? A little bit later I'm going to talk about threats. I'm going to talk about viruses, worms, trojans, and these things are designed to steal your data. You, as the network security administrator, should look into a security framework, create a framework with your security team, create a policy, and based on your company's requirements, and create a document which will help you to have standard security. Before you provide a set of protocols, you should ask questions. Okay, how do users work together with their systems? Okay, we got a SharePoint server, we got Trim, we got NAS, we got SAN. How should your systems should be configured? Okay, we use group policy, we use MBSA, Microsoft Baseline Security Analyzer, we use STW, Security Configuration Visit. Okay, what else? How to react when a system is attacked? We got an IPS and IDS. We're going to talk about this next week. Okay, but what is this when someone bypasses the IDS? We got an incident response team. Okay, who's in this incident response team? We got George, Melissa, and Jan in this team. Okay, no problem. What can we do? We can basically create an emergency response plan. It's like fire stations. We have fire stations. We got fire engines which comes out ready in case of emergency, or ambulances. You call what's the number again? 000. Yes. They send, you tell the address and they send you an ambulance. It's something like that. If you get hacked or attacked, you should have an incident response team to help you to work with these incidences. What is if you find something suspicious? Again, last week I showed you Virus Total, a website where you can upload the stuff, but what is if it's confident? You should always follow your company policies. Okay, how are you going to build these policies? Basically, you should have a guideline which should have detailed description of the policy issues, description about the status of the policies, applicability of the policy and the environment, functionalities, and a good way to follow standard is usually you can go to ISO.org. ISO.org will have many different standards. You can go, for example, to ISO 27001, which is the Information Security Management Standards. You can just purchase the policy and apply them to your company. If you want, you can even get ISO certified. I'm pretty sure you heard about ISO 9001. And if I were you, if I were selecting data center, I would definitely check if they were ISO 27001 certified or not, because this will ensure that they are using the standards, worldwide standards. And to be honest, it's really hard to get the certificate and display it as certified. As you can see, there are many operations cybersecurity solutions as well where it will help you to use the standards. A little bit later, I'm going to show you also a couple of extra websites which can help you to gain some information. Do you get a question so far? I think I fixed the microphone. Can we download this PowerPoint? Yes, you can download the PowerPoint later. James, is there any questions which you think I should answer?
Yeah, there's a couple of questions here. Dominic has just asked, are we going to go over security incident report and best layout to use? I don't know, Dominic, if you mean incident response reports, that sort of thing. Will that be covered in this course, Erdal?
Not in detail, but I'm just taking note here. I'm more than happy to maybe, this is myself on a different course. EC Council has the incident response class, but I'm more than happy to record maybe 10 minutes demo about incident response.
Cool. Thanks, Erdal.
Okay,
and there was just one other question from Andres.
Sorry. Yeah, Andres?
Asking for the difference between the purpose and the goals of a security policy.
Okay, what is the purpose, what is the goal? They sound very similar, right? To be honest, when I first read it myself as well, when someone speaking English like me said, hey, purpose and goal. So the goal is what you're trying to achieve. The purpose could be, you know, you quit, like you eat. Your goal is losing weight, but the purpose is your health. In terms of security, the goal is not to hack, but the purpose is also using, using different methods. So there is a really tiny distinction between the goals, and that's why I use the food example. Like, seriously, this is my real goal. My goal is to lose weight, and the purpose is, you know, to look bit better. Or that's, so there is a very tiny distinction in between them. I hope this little example could help you to understand better. Any other questions?
Thanks, Erdal. One more I just saw come through from Daryl is, would we be able to get access to some framework and policy documents, example ones?
Actually, yes. There are a couple of websites. I think I got some in my blog as well. I know I keep referring back to my blog, but seriously, I use my blog as a place to access an emergency. If you go to my blog, mynamelastname.com, erdalozkaya.com, if you go to ISO, as you can see, I have, I think, a couple of stuff here already. Yes, the ISO, you know, just go, here we go. The free ISO 20000 toolkit has most of the information that you are asking for. So just go to this website here and download it from this website. It has everything what you want, and highly recommend it. So this basically, some of the stuff is not, you know what I mean, it's not straight from ISO. They might share something which is which you need to buy. So please use the terms and conditions before you use, as most of the stuff are copyrighted. Okay. So I got some stuff in my blog. You can go and see, and they're there since last year. So I don't want to upload any of these to the website, but basically I'm using these links for you to use as bridge.
We'll put a direct link in the week 2 section of the Learn.it Masters site to that website. Not a download, but just the link that you've got there.
Okay. Yes, we can do that. Not the download, because as I said, that's why I didn't put the direct download link in my website as well. So I don't want to be in trouble with ISO.org. You know what I mean? Okay. Any other questions?
I think we should be good for now, Erdal. I'll let you get on with the presentation.
Okay.
And I'll flag any other questions for later.
Beautiful. Beautiful. How's it going? The speed good? Everybody understand my English? Or my Germanish? Okay. Privacy and confidentiality. So this is like a goal and a purpose as well. Like privacy and confidentiality, they sound very similar, right? What is the privacy? Right of individuals to hold information or data about themselves in secret. Okay, yeah, I know I read it, because my explanation, it's not going to be better. What is confidentiality? The assurance that information about identifiable persons, the release of which would constitute an invasion of privacy for any individual. As you can see, they sound very similar, but they have a strict distinction between them, such as confidentiality is the assurance. And that's the reason why we mark sensitive information as confidential from from any kind of unauthorized access. How can we do that? Basically, last week I talked about the least privileges. If you watch my demo, you will see that I got a beautiful example of why it's important to use least privileges. So it's going to be shortly in the learning website. Then we basically we should have separation of duties. Yes, you might be the administrator. I don't care. You are working most of the time as an end user. Use your access. Yes, you might be the admin, but I don't want you to check the security logs. Why? What is if you get distinguished? What is if you decide to be bad? You might delete the logs. So administrator access is also classified sometimes as God access. I don't want to give you that much power. So that's why we should have separate roles and separate hands, which we call dual controls. Job rotation, I don't know, even in large enterprises, in terms of security, it's really not that possible. So you can't just always rotate jobs, especially in a small organization, but the recommendation is there. So basically it's asking you to hand a job from one person to another person to make the skills going up, and just in case if this person leaves you. But again, I didn't see this in real life that often. So how can you create security organization and policy development? As I said, I showed you the websites already. You can just go to those websites and you can attend some training classes and you will learn how you can develop a security policy. First of all, you should know the roles of your end users, the purpose of your company. Then you should identify the main objective of the business. Okay, we are an internet business company, which means we should be able to have port 80 open. Determine who needs access to external resources. Yes, we have suppliers, but does really my data entry person needs access to my external resources to my supplier? The answer is probably no. So make sure you create the right policy. Employer responsible person, that's usually the security manager, who will enforce the rules, develop a profile of possible threats, and identify critical services and medium data transfer. At Microsoft, we have something called VGA, not VGA, AGP, sorry, I always mix it up, VGA. AGP. If you ever done a Microsoft course, or if you ever manage a Microsoft network, yes, I know you might be using Linux in it, but come on, 85% of the world is using Microsoft. And please, please, please don't write to me on emails, Linux or Apple is better. I'm not saying they are worse, but I'm saying, hey, 85% of the networks is Microsoft. They have some Apples, they have many Linux on it, yes, I do agree, but we need to concentrate on majority, as this is a general class, not a specialized Linux or Apple security class, okay? I have nothing against them. My wife is an Apple fan. I'm a Microsoft fan, Windows fan. I got an Android phone. I got a, believe it or not, Nokia phone. I had an Apple before, so it's different issues. So I'm just answering through emails, which I didn't respond back because it was issues like that. Okay, A stands for accounts. You put accounts into groups. P stands for permission. You assign permission to the groups. This way you don't have to deal with every single individual account. And you will apply the permissions to a group. And you can use group policy. You can use organization units in a group policy. So if you don't know any of these terms, please go to my to IT Masters, learn.itmasters.edu.au. I have a beautiful recording together with Steve, which is about, which has information about Windows Server. Please feel free to watch it. Okay, and this will help you to basically create some policies. Okay, we had a question asking about incident handling. That's the only thing which we covered during the class about incident handling. What is incident handling? Basically, if there's an issue, a team which is going to deal with that issue. And they usually follow some procedures. Like if it's a small issue, you don't have to wake up 2 a.m. the security admin. You might deal with it. But if it's a major issue, maybe you wake up even the CEO. I hope it's not that serious issue. Security lifecycle, don't forget, everything has end of life. By the way, if you are still using Windows XP, I think Windows XP is gonna die in 60 something days. So for the last 10 years, Windows XP was one of the most used operating systems worldwide, but hey, it's dying. If you're having iPhone 3, hey, you're not allowed to install iOS 7. It's classified as dead. So if you have a Red Hat early operating system, sorry, you can't upgrade to the latest Red Hat. You have to pay the difference. So some companies have policies like that. Some of them have right to do that. Some of them, I don't agree they should pull the flag. But anyway, nobody's asked me what to do. My job is to make the recommendations. And keep in mind, we should design the best possible security policy. It should get approved by the stakeholders or by the key management. And the policy development must be devised and processed entirely by the security professional. That's really important. Okay, so to be honest, that's the part which I classified as boring and which is over. Now I'm starting with real stuff. Probably some hacking, some threats, some more demos, but yes, I can demonstrate to you how to write a security policy, but to be honest, I don't enjoy it myself. That's why I'm not going to give the best example. But from now on, we're going to concentrate more on hands-on stuff and more on stuff that will help you to enjoy the rest of the class. We did cover everything till this point because it's been covered in the exam. Okay, let me ask one more time. Do you get any questions? James?
No technical ones just now. I think we've been through most of them. Yep.
Beautiful.
I'm sure we'll get some coming through when you get into the technical bits.
I'm pretty sure. It was also an excuse for me to drink a sip of coffee. Okay. Alright guys. Please fasten your seatbelts. There is no emergency exit. You're stuck to me. If you think this is too heavy, just press the power button of your computer. It's time to learn some cool stuff. First of all, some of the terminologies might be boring for you, but they are really important. And I already recorded a couple of really cool demos which you're going to enjoy. Alright, first of all, let's define some terms. What is a vulnerability? I don't know if you remember the movie Rocky Balboa, if you watched Rocky Balboa. If you did, so there was always an American guy fighting to that Russian guy. Okay? So what happened is during the movie, you know, during the movie, what happened is, you know, the action music goes on. Rocky is, you know, fighting. He's just about to lose because the bad guy finds that Rocky has some vulnerability. He has some issue in his, on his chest, I think, yeah. And the coach of the other guy says attack from the left side, as Rocky is not doing really well from that side. Or think about a soccer game or basketball game. They usually look at, you know, the coach is watching the game all the time, taking notes, and sometimes they say, hey, team B is really bad from the left side. And they start to scream, action number 4, attack from the left side because the left side is weak. So this is the same applies for a computer. Vulnerability is basically existing of a weakness in design. This could be in design of the software or of the hardware. Last week I gave an example, TP-Link. Yes, thank you Glenn for your help in the forum. You explained most of the questions until I came back there. But it is basically TP-Link. Hackers discovered that, hey, everybody's using TP-Link. Let's try to find some vulnerabilities. They did find the vulnerability, and they changed the DNS on these devices to sniff the data. What is a threat? A threat is a circumstance, event, or person with the potential to cause harm to a system, to a form of destruction. Let's say, seriously, when I go to a club with my wife, let's say that club is full of girls. My wife will get really angry. Not angry, she will be, not that comfortable. She will come to me, so she will feel this is a threat. Everybody's looking at my husband, not because I'm that boss, just an example, okay? This might be a threat for her. Or a threat could be okay, a threat could be a DOS attack as well. What is a DOS attack? I'm going to talk about it very shortly. What is an attack then? An assault on a system security that basically ends up in intelligent threat. So basically an attack is any action that violates security. So how does this work? Let me show you this way. Think about the TP-Link vulnerability, which we did a little bit talk about it, and in the form a couple of students had really good links on it. Please go and check the forms. So that TP-Link vulnerability is now a threat to all TP-Link users. Why? Because it can end up as an attack. So anybody who finds out that using TP-Link, and to be honest it's very easy to find out, easier than you think, via a system which we call banner grabbing. They can find out what kind of modem or IP address or operating system or even internet browser you're using and attack you. So, vulnerability, threat, attack. What is a good vulnerability website? So I would highly recommend you to go to exploit DB. Please write it down. Most of you should know this website. If not, it is a beautiful website which has lots of exploits, which you can basically come and get even information about the TP-Link exploits from me as well. Basically, here we go. It's somewhere here. If not, you can just search for it from here. Find some exploits, attack mechanism. A10 network load balancer, directory traversal. Here we go. There are lots of different vulnerabilities where people. I'm trying to find the TP-Link. Okay, let's use that real player. I'm sure most of you do use real player. So there is an exploit on real.com. If you're still using the software, be careful. People can just basically use this payload via Metasploit, and they can just once they find out they're using this kind of software, they can attack you. So I already recorded a demonstration how people, for example, can share videos on Facebook, and you click on this link, which is not on YouTube. They found out that using real, for example, and they will then use that vulnerability to access to your system. It is like the free ebooks websites. They give you free ebooks, but if you're not using the latest Adobe software, or if it, most of the time they use 0 days of Adobe, which while you're reading your free ebook, the attacker was having access to your C drive. If you don't believe me, it's easy. Adobe 0 day. Just again, bingle it. I know most of you didn't understand the term bingle. I'm a Microsoft fan, that's why I use Bing, but it's like Googling. Basically, you Google it, and the first link at Bing, expert one of 0 day expert at Adobe Reader. Basically, just keep an eye. Last week I gave you lots of websites. If you're using Adobe 10 or 11, you're in trouble, because this 0-day has some vulnerability which will help the attacker to identify what kind of computer you're using, and they can access your data remotely while you got other view open. Isn't it crazy? Isn't it dangerous? Isn't it scary? So, vulnerability, threat, attack. Okay? There are different attack types: active attacks, passive attacks, internal attacks, external attacks. Active attacks are the attacks that usually, happens all the time. People start in a time and they don't stop until they finish. Usually, anonymous uses DDoS attacks, and they are classified as active attacks. Then we got passive attacks. What is a passive attack? Let's say you use enumeration. Remember last week I talked a little bit about enumeration? You use some tools to identify your enemy network tools.com. Sorry, I forgot to type .com. So you can come, for example, domain Erdal Ozkaya.com. Let's run query. To be honest, I forgot my IP address. Let me just find the IP address quickly. PowerShell. Erdal.com. Okay, my IP address is 27. I can't see it for one. 27.123.26.225. We can use any port, port 80, and go. At the moment, it's port 53 is it. And let's look up. So you can just come and run a netlookup query without even putting any of these. Sorry, I was thinking something else. Here we go. It went to my website. It found my hosting company. It found my web app. You can see it's been hosted in Australia. It finds the server name. It finds the serial number, the SOE. When it expires, TTL. What else can you find? You can come and run, for example, Hinfo. What is Hinfo? Hinfo is a very dangerous record, which is DNS record, which you should not share. What is it? It is basically sharing information of what kind of hardware, CPU you're using. As you can see, I did disable that. Or you can come run different queries, and this queries will run and give information about you. What else? For example, whois.com. From here, you can go and run a whois lookup. Erdal. I know I'm using my blog. I don't want to use any other website. The other website which you can use, which I'm doing this for you, is certifiedhacker.com. Here we go. My blog. You are not allowed to scan my blog, but I am allowed to scan my blog. And to be honest, my home IP address is in the whitelist. So if I scan my blog, I won't be notified. But if you scan it, I will be notified, or you will notify me once you hack me. And yes, before some students hack me. Okay. Who am I? I'm Erdal Ozkaya. To be honest, this is old record. I don't work for CEO Training anymore. I'm not in Paramata anymore. Hey, look at this. Yes, now I work for Better Together, which is my company. I'm from Hollywood and I live in Moon. My phone number is here. Yes, feel free to call me, to spam me. My email address is here. Yeah, no problem. So you can get some information about me straight from the websites. So this is a passive attack. Why? Because it's really hard for me to find out if someone is collecting information about me. Last week I talked about Maltego. Maltego was a software which connects and makes all these kinds of search. Seriously, how am I going to know about it? It's hard. Internal attacks. If you have an employee who wants to, like, think about Snowden, Ed Snowden. He was an internal who escaped to Russia and started to talk all about NSA. This time I'm not talking about Network Security Administrator. I'm talking about American National Security Agency, which was spying nearly on everything, including Angry Birds. Then we got external attacks as well, such as NSA listening to what we're doing. So all this information happens during the time, during the week, to to people to get information. So who are the people doing that? There are 4 types of hackers. We got the black hat. What is a black hat hacker? A black hat hacker is the bad guy who aims to steal, who aims to harm you. Then we have the white hat hackers. I hope you are all in the white hat side. Why? Because, like, I classify myself as white hat. Why? Because what I do is I hack. Yes, I do hack, and I only hack when the companies give me authorizations. The difference between a white hat and black hat hacker is a black hat hacker doesn't get an authorization. They hack, they harm, they ask for money. White hat hackers, they get the money up front. No. They basically simulate the attacks. Their aim is not to bring it down. The aim is to find the issues before the hackers do and patch them up. Then we got the gray hat hackers. Basically, people sometimes on the good side, sometimes bad side. It's like corrupted police, they got the police uniform, but they work sometimes the bad side, and most of the time they do their job, daily job. Ethical hackers, you can classify them as security expert or white hat hackers as well. So your aim is to be ethical hacker, and I hope you all are going to be an ethical hacker. So, okay. Did we got any question about the terminologies or what I covered so far? Questions? I don't see any new questions up.
Just one here, just asking for clarification. White hats and certified ethical hackers, are they synonymous terms?
Yeah, I think they're same, synonymous terms. Back to that. White hat focuses on securing IT systems. Ethical hackers basically who attack security systems on behalf of the vendors. Basically the same. We are focused on IT security system and alerts owners on the system against security flaws, alert sensitive information gathered and applied robust measures. So it's the same thing. Many companies they call, many books call white hacks, and ethical hackers is the same thing as well. So if you have, like, I can recommend you Hacker Exposed, a beautiful book. If you read this, they use it as one. Yeah, they're same meaning. Okay. Thank you, Jay. I just saw your comment. Don't worry, it's something private. Okay. Now let's talk about network attack techniques. Spamming. I think we all know what spamming is, and I think we all do receive some spam message. Just a small statistic. 92% of the emails worldwide is spam. 92% of the whole emails generated in the world is spam. So I'm not going to talk too much about it. If you want some information, again, go back to my blog. I have this in detail explained here. Let me just show you where it is. To be honest, it was email crimes and violations. Please feel free to come to read this. It tells you step by step what spamming is, what mail bombing is, what mailstorm is, what phishing is, what email spoofing is. So basically all these methods, I do have a beautiful article which is talking about how you can protect yourself against this as well. Step by step, but the link there, as you can see, it has quite good read rate as well. So please look into that. So how can you collect spam email addresses? It's very easy. You can buy robots which checks websites if they have any email available. If you remember a few minutes ago when I done a who is test, my email address was on text. I think I closed it. Yes, I'm just checking my tabs. I closed it. Yeah, my email address was this is text. Why? So people can't. Or let's go to Facebook. Everybody's emails listed there. Let's go to friend of mine. Do you got any friends? Do I got any friends who's giving me a travel? Do you mind if I use you? There we go. From Dubai. Let's see. His email address, as you can see. Oh, beautiful. He didn't display it. Why? Because he knows that people can just go and get his details from here. But most of the people, like myself, let's go to myself. About. And my email address is listed here. Which email address? The email address which I don't care about, facebook.com. So you can go and grab my email address. Let's go to my page. Not this one. Don't forget to like my page while you're there. You can see if you go to about, I got an email address here listed. So, and it's clickable. So if a robot runs against Facebook, they will be easily get this email address and send me spam. Why did I put it here? It's part of my responsibility, you know. I have to answer some kind of email. Yes. Do I check all this email? To be honest, only if it bypasses my strong spam filter. What else? Meantime in LinkedIn. This is a screenshot from yesterday. I did blur all the names. And if you're a friend of mine in LinkedIn, please feel free, and you will see there. Some 2,049 people. Look here. That gentleman here, let's connect. Click like and add your email address in the comment. Did you like the picture? Which means this guy can see that 2,049 people and 2,654 people liked it, and 2,000 people will comment on it with their email addresses. Can you believe on it? This guy is putting their email addresses so they can get spam. And look what I've done. Thank you for the shares. Nice way to get spam. Guess what? My comment was deleted. And because I knew this was going to happen, I just take a screenshot straight away. And when I was preparing this class, I said, you know what, I can use this. So please be careful where you're using your information, because your information is valuable and people can use it. People can sell it. And don't forget, there are many saying that I just received an email from LinkedIn. Someone is trying to connect. And it's spam. My phone, it came from my spam. Sorry, through my phone. Anyway, what else? Network attack techniques. Revealing hidden passwords. Again, I don't have lots of time to do that, but I do promise I have a beautiful demonstration for you how you can crack passwords. Again, to be honest, I'm not going to crack a ultra complex password because it takes a lot of time. But I'm just going to demonstrate to you in a video how you can do that. It's been recorded. Actually, I didn't record this one, but I'm going to record this one very shortly. And it's going to be uploaded over the weekend as well. How you can use, for example, can enable. I know half of you do know about it, but we got 4,000 people, more than 4,000 people actually signed up to the course. I'm pretty sure not everybody knows about it. I'm gonna also record a video how you can crack wireless networks. So how you can use PWDump. So please stay tuned. Promise lots of things coming to the website. What else? Wiretapping. What is wiretapping? Wiretapping is a process of monitoring the telephone call and internet connection by a third party. Or wiretapping allows people to hear some telephone calls of others. I'm pretty sure you do remember when you had parallel phones at your home. Like if your mom is answering the phone call, you could just take the another line and listen to it. I'm pretty sure none of you done it before. Okay? But this is what wiretapping is. Some people say wiretapping is very active in non-democratic countries. The government is listening to you all the time. You saw that NSA, the American security agency, was wiretapping nearly everything. So it is allowing other people to see what other people are doing. Like being a busybody or sticking your nose into everything. There is two types of wiretapping, active and passive. Active wiretapping is the process of modifying the content of the communication. Where passive is you just collect and you attack later. Alright, do you think this is still active? Do you think people are still doing that? Hey, just 3 months ago, 2 months ago, Australia was caught spying on the Indonesian president, Susilo Bambiko, whatever his last name is. And thanks to Edward Snowden, who told this to the world, hey, Indonesia, we are spying on you, we're spying on you. Yes, it just happened, as you can see, 3 months ago. Is this all? No, look at this. Israel danger over US wiretapping report. So everybody thought Israel is wiretapping everybody, but guess what? They are wiretapped by US. And I want you to look, please, carefully in the screen. This is a screenshot which I took yesterday. All what I've done is, let me see if it's going to happen today as well. I went to the internet, okay, and no, it won't happen here. I went to the internet. As you can see, today we have 3,439 people registered. And I said, wire, what are we covering now? I forgot. Okay, let's check the news. Let's go. Turkish news. Okay. To be honest, I'm just opening a random web page, which I hope they have some advertisement. There you go. GFI. Do you think this ad here is coincidence? Seriously? Or do you think, hey, look at this, ISO 9001. Do you think this is coincidence? Or is it targeted advertisement? What do you think? Can you please quickly type it in the chat box? Where's the chat box? I can't see it. Alright. Anybody listening? 300 people. Are you there?
The answers will be in your question box, Erdal. People are saying targeted.
My question box. It's targeted, right? So why I don't see it? Anyway, I'm looking to too many screens, I think. Alright, back to my slide deck. Yesterday I just noticed that, hey, how does this thing know there was CSU? How does Sky News knows about me? So it is checking my cookies, right? And it is using information about me from these cookies. So I got a beautiful, I just found about this very recently, a beautiful software which you can also download, which is called Banana Anti-Malware. Just next. It is quickly scanning. Look, I run this scan maybe this morning, and look at this. Look at the tracking cookies which is sitting in my computer. Most of them are, hey, Google services. Firefox. Not too many in Internet Explorer because I just disabled this option, but I don't know how to do it in Firefox. So it's still scanning. It's going to scan and let me know what's wrong in my computer. Do you have to pay money for the money? No, you can use also, for example, CC Cleaner. But the difference between this and CC Cleaner is this will also look on viruses and Trojans as well and tell you what's going on. So, targeted advertisement. How can you protect yourself against that? First of all, if you're using IE 10, you can go to the internet options, you can go to the privacy, and you can say never allow websites to request your physical location. Once you do that, you can always go to cookies and do not accept any cookies. Yes, I know. As soon as you do that, some of the websites not gonna work because it's gonna say, hey, we just noticed you do not allow some cookies. Guess what? You can't access our website unless you enable cookies. So I think you can do it with Firefox as well. Yes, I know you can do it. But to be honest, I use Firefox only for my hacking activities. How? I'm going to show this in a later demo. So, targeted attacks. So it's not just the government who's watching us. It is also the websites. Why? It's money. Why? People get not anymore pay click, they get also pay display money as well. So, what else? We got one of the network attack techniques is scanning. What is scanning? It's basically, remember my example last week? I said you go to the pub, and in the pub you look around to find the perfect girl or boy, or sometimes you look around to find a friend to say hi. So you scan the environment. It is basically a process of identifying the systems, open ports, services running in the network. We have different types of scanning. Port scanning, vulnerability scanning, network scanning. Port scanning, what is a port? Port is like a window in a computer. You got 65,000 ports. Each service is running different ports. Please watch the demo that I recorded today. I'm showing the importance of the port, and I'm showing how people use the port to attack you. Then we have vulnerability scanning. What is a vulnerability? We spoke about it. So people check if you're using, for example, TP-Link. If you do, they check if you patch it or not. If you didn't, they attack you. They check if you're using Adobe Acrobat. If you do, they attack you. And network scanning. It's the process of finding what kind of operating system you're using, what kind of network devices you're using, what kind of security mechanism you're using. As soon as they do that, they attack you. Okay, scanning in Australia is illegal. Feel free to scan if you want to, in your own risk. But do yourself a favor and do not scan any of these IP addresses. I'm repeating myself. Do yourself a favor. Try not to scan anybody externally. If you do it in your own risk. But do not scan these IP addresses unless you want to get into trouble. There are some American government IP addresses which are supposed to be heavily monitored, and you should not scan these IP addresses with your basic angry IP scanner. Angry IP scanner. All right, questions? Questions?
Yeah, we've had a few comments and questions here. Speaking about cookies and such, a few people have written in to suggest Ghostery is an add-on, I guess, for Chrome, which I imagine...
Chrome?
Yeah.
To be honest, yeah, if you're using Chrome, feel free to use
It's probably
Chrome,
for
but
Firefox as well.
yeah, I know, I heard about it. Yeah, a couple of things.
Yep.
Feel free to
Adblock.
use it.
There's some good
Thank you.
ones. A few people are writing in to
Yeah, Adblock
suggest
is a
that's
good
one.
one. Yes,
No
thank you.
script.
Yeah, there are many. You know, I got only about 1 hour time. If I mention all these tools, then I'm in trouble. You know what I mean? I'm just mentioning a few of them. Please feel free to mention whatever you like in the discussion forums. If I'm against something, I will definitely, I will definitely be there saying, "Oh no, this is not good. That's good." You know, feel free to share everything, and let's make this forum a bit more active, so we can always, you know, be in touch and learn from each other. To be honest, there is. I got 2 university degrees, master degree, thanks to IT Masters I'm also CSU doing my PhD. So I got God knows how many certifications, God knows how many events I spoke about. Doesn't mean I'm secure, not really. Doesn't mean I'm unhackable, not really. So there is no the master in the security field. We will all learn from each other. And this forum, learn.itmaster.edu.au, is the best place for us to do so. Okay? Please look into here and share your comments. Okay, anything else? James?
A few questions came through a while back, but they're probably off topic at the moment. How about can we get to them at the end for the sake of continuity?
No, yes. Okay, let's use Metasploit. I'm pretty sure Metasploit, Metasploit, actually it's owned by Rapid7. You can go to metasploit.com. 2 things. There is the free version, which you can go and download. Then you can go to DB exploits, for example, copy the payload from there, paste it into your Metasploit and use it. Totally free. Feel free to use it. It's one of the best network vulnerability scanners. I do highly recommend you to go and download it. And if you are a security professional, if you are a penetration tester, then I do also recommend you to buy the Pro version. What is the Pro version doing? The free version is basically a command line script, which you have to do everything manually. If you're lazy, then you can use the Pro version. Metasploit, which is installed in my computer. I log in. Oh, Metasploit Pro. Okay. So what I've done is I did record a couple of demos for you. Here we go, certifiedattacker.com. I launched a couple of attacks for you. Feel free to do the same. Feel free to attack my blog as well, but please, please do not bring it down if you find something. It is using the freeware, what's it called? I just muted that platform. Joomla, I think, yes. So feel free to share it with me. I did run a couple of reports because it's going to take some time, which we don't have here. What you can do is, very quick demo, you can click in quick pen test, for example. You can select targets. You can say, hey, my project is a find vulnerabilities, or let's say your MCT security test. Security test, by the way, Semana anti-malware has finished. And as you can see, I got lots of tracking cookies. You can use the add-on that you talked about, and that's it. You can put an internal and external IP address to find out what's going on. In this case, I'm going to put my blog address 27.123.26.225. I can just go start the scan, or I can select, hey, project owner is this, project number is that, I'm running exploit. You can go and configure the scan. You can just use Nmap. Again, Nmap is free. You can just go to nmap.org, 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 and download Nmap. There is also something called ZenMap, which is the GUI version. So all what you have to do is basically come here, click download, and you can just download Nmap or ZenMap from here. It is looking like this. Basically, you can just put manually, you can type all this, or Metasploit has it inbuilt. You can just use it. If you know the username and password, you can just add it in, and it might be a white box penetration testing. What is a white box penetration testing? Different than white hat. With white box, you know all the details. You just do double check. With black text penetration testing, for example, you don't know any details. You do an attack without knowing any details to gain as much info as possible. You can select to run exploits, and you can select some ports to run it. Like you can collect evidences. It has many other options here. Then you can generate a report. Yeah, let's start the scan. While this is doing the scan, remember I told you I did actually run a couple of scans before. So what is this doing? This is helping me type all these long commands. If you know how to do it, as a professional security tester, you should actually know some of them. As you can see, it's loading Nmap. Instead of me going type nmap.exe/sstsppe, port like port scans for 20, DNS 80113. It's doing all these scan for me automatically. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly, while this is going to the report actually, I'm going to check the report. I'm going to generate the report. I did delete it. Hold on. Let me go home. Did I delete them? I hope not. All right. So, as you can see, what I've done is, sorry, I just found what I've done. I just went back to home, okay? Projects. From projects, I select, for example, Erdal blog. And this is the report result. I can just get it in PDF as well. Look at this. Successful remote logging from internal. From internal, there is no place back 102.10.1001, right? And it did run some exploits. If you're using Mozilla, from local host IP address, the user can just log in and username is Erdal. If I would try to hack Erdal.Ozkaya, this will be my first try. Try to username, Erdal, of course. Look at this. It has 2 websites and 173 pages, 19 forms, and there is 8 vulnerabilities in my web page. 8 vulnerabilities. So a hacker can go before me there and use one of the vulnerabilities to attack me. So my job is to go and patch it. Of course, I'm not going to go and show you what vulnerabilities I have in my blog, but this is just an example how vulnerable Joomla is actually. Okay, what else? I can just go back to my project. For example, certifiedhacker.com. Let's see if it has any vulnerabilities. 0 vulnerabilities. Let's see if I could capture any data. Projects. I don't know if I select capture data. Probably. So I couldn't capture any data because it was just a quick test. What else can you do? You can do a web app test. You can select a project name, the URL. The URL is, this time let's use yourmct.com. You can just maximum pages, request per URL, time limit. You can, select any kinds of two authentication with username Erdal with this possible password. You don't have to specify domain. Use cookies so it can basically get some cookie data. Let's say I just deleted the cookies. Why is the manner? Let's say the cookie data was there. I could just copy and paste a cookie, add it here. Don't forget, most of the cookies report information back to their owner, and you can just get that cookie information pasted here and start to attack. Once you click start scan, it will basically now gonna see if I'm running any that app in my blog, and if I do, it's there we go. 404. There are actually some stuff in my blog which is there for people to see. So this is giving me information like that. As you can see, it's scanning more and more web pages. The more it scans, the more it finds, and the report's going to be a bit bigger. So what is Metasploit doing? Helping me to run a quick pen test. Or I can just use Metasploit console. That's the pro console here. That's which is used for real hacking. But I'm gonna move on here. I'm gonna do some offline recording for you, and I'm gonna show you how I can use Metasploit Pro Console to launch a customized attack. Or you can just go to exploit DB. Probably that's what I'm gonna do in my demo. I'm gonna select one of these payloads. I'm just clicking. This is not a Metasploit one. You know, one of the Metasploit payloads, copy paste, and there's some other way to do it. Please watch the demonstration video later, which I'm going to record. So you can do that, or you can just come and do it here. Then you can just go get the reports, and you can generate reports, you can export reports. So it's the tool for you to quickly back to scan websites, to brute force websites. What is brute force website? Basically password tracking. So now you know the username is Erdal. You can just go, and now you know I'm using login. Because it's Joomla, probably it's using MySQL, maybe Oracle, maybe POP3. You can use some SMBs, some VNC, Telnet. You know, you can select these kinds of brute force settings, and you can quickly run a brute force attack. You can say, you know what, I want one guest per service. I want to include non-credentials. Skip blank password generation, because probably I'm not using blank password. You know, you can just go and select different kinds of options and launch the attack. The weaker my password is, the higher chance this brute force can go through. And first of all, successful login, admin using password. Here we go. Any username with password is allowed. Let's go to my blog. Seriously, I don't know about that. Let's try to log in. Could be one of the users' passwords. Okay, use online. It's supposed to log in. Okay, admin password. Oof, luckily it didn't work. For just for a second I was scared if it's gonna work or not. Thanks God it didn't. Why did it show it did? Probably you know, I done something wrong. Let's go back to Metasploit. Probably I should look a bit more into detail here. I can just run now a verbose output against. So I can run different attack mechanism, and this will basically do it for me. I can just go and collect some data as well. So this software is there for making my life easier as a penetration tester. What else can I do? I can go, if it's an internal network, I can use, for example, GFL Vanguard. 2013 is out. funny enough, I didn't have time to install it. GFI Vanguard, which is also an award-winning vulnerability management software. 2013 is out now. Actually, I got it even 2012 license. I don't know why I didn't install it. It's an old PC which I restored today for the demos. While this is loading, I'm going to load also a free version from Microsoft, which is called Microsoft Baseline Security Analyzer. So, this loaded faster. With Microsoft Baseline Security Analyzer, which is MBSA, you can scan a computer, you can scan multiple computers, you can look for Windows. This is for internal only. So what Metasploit is doing externally. Vanguard is doing it also internally as well, or within VPNs. You can check for weak passwords, you can check for IS vulnerabilities, SQL vulnerabilities, basically all based on Microsoft. And as soon as you start the scan, it will download the updates on Microsoft. For some reason, probably this is trying to check the data and my license is up to date. Anyway, I'm going to leave the rest for offline recording, okay? Again, please don't expect me to do hours long of demonstrations, but promise I'm going to upload enough demonstrations to make you happy. So, any questions so far? I'm going to do the next call offline. James, any questions so far?
Yep, Erdal, we've got some questions from throughout the night that we can catch up on if we're finished for the webinar for the night.
Actually, I have a few more.
Oh, okay.
Slides. Okay. Not the sniffing. Yeah, I know the time is really over. I talked too much. Yeah, you were saying something?
That's right. Yeah, if you just want to you finish up the slides now, and we'll get to the questions because we've run a bit over time. So if people want to just
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry for
That's
everybody.
Right.
So no, I like to talk, and sometimes it's just about time. Okay, what I can do is probably let's finish the slides, and the rest I will do it offline. Okay. So we have also reconnaissance. Reconnaissance, I spoke last week about it. Is basically to get as much information as possible about our target. We did spoke about it last week. We said we can do passive reconnaissance via Google hacking. I'm going to do this offline, promise. Or active reconnaissance, which is basically interacting with the target. Then we have CSV, which is the common vulnerabilities and exposures. You saw Exploit DB is one of them, but this is probably the black side. There is also some good side as well, which I'm going to cover later. Okay, what is a Trojan? A Trojan is a malicious or harmful code, which is designed. I'm pretty sure you watched the movie Troy. Remember the movie Troy? If not, please watch it. They fight with their colony. They come in. They give them a present. A present which looks like a present, but inside there were people to which they later came out and opened the doors, and the colony lost the war. Trojan is the same thing. The original Trojan story happened in Turkey or Greek. It's currently in Turkey. I was lucky enough to see it. It's really cool. It's a horse which looks like a present. Think about a software which looks like free, but has a virus inside. People do wrap it. Free MP3, which is a virus inside, or which reports that information. What kind of information? This is totally up to the hacker. They can send credit card information, any kind of information. So how is this happening? Via channels. We've got two kinds of channels in my computer. One is the overt channel, two is the covert channel. Overt channel is a legitimate communication path, which is used by legitimate programs. For example, poker.exe. Yes, you might like poker, you might like to play poker, you download it, you play it, you're risk. But there is also something called covert channel, which is the unauthorized channel, which is used by Trojans. And please watch my demo, which I'm going to upload very shortly. I'm showing you how you can find Trojans viruses in your computer. What else? This is common port used by Trojans. You know, they change all the time, but this is from our valuable CH class, Certificate Hacker class. So if you come and join us at IT Masters, we do deliver this class as well. You can just, we do talk in details about that later. What is a virus? A virus is a self-replicating program that produces its own copy by attaching itself to another program. It could be a computer boot sector, could be a document. Usually you get infections from other programs, from USBs, from file downloads. Most of the viruses do encrypt themselves. Again, later I'm going to show you how you can fight against a virus in a demo as well. Indications are your computer acts weird, and because it acts weird, it annoys you. So you have to make sure that you don't install unlegitimate programs to your computers. You don't open unattachment email. In fact, you don't open any attachments that you don't trust. You don't install any private software. You keep your computer up to date. You have an antivirus. Again, I got lots of more information about viruses called malware, past, present, and future in my blog. Please go and read it. Okay. I've got also a session which you can go and watch in my blog called Found. What's next? Basically, your computer is hacked. You can just go and watch it. I did deliver the session in the big conference, Microsoft conference. Okay, what is a worm? A worm is a special type of a virus that can replicate itself and uses memory, but it cannot attach itself like a virus. Okay, so that's the difference between worm and a virus. A worm takes advantage of a file or information, where virus can't do that. Okay, we have then password cracking techniques. I just quickly talked about brute force. Brute force was basically the general name to it, which I used Metasploit for that. But in my offline recording, I'm going to use some other software such as opcrack, K-enable. Don't worry, I know it's hard to follow up, especially I speed up a little bit now. Don't worry, you will have information about all this in our offline session. Password can be done via dictionary attack. A dictionary file is basically a file with lots of words on it. It can be done via brute forcing attack. Basically, you use every combination of characters there, and you saw how it worked in my previous demo. Then we have hybrid attack. It's basically the mix of dictionary attack, and they use some numbers, symbols, and etc. on it. Then we got a syllable attack, which is the combination of brute force and dictionary attack. Then we got a rule-based attack. Basically, you select the rules. Again, you're going to watch this in my offline session. I'm not going to complete this session with a huge password, okay? Just to let you know, when you watch it offline, it's going to be a small password because it might take lots of time. Again, I'm going to have a demonstration for you about Microsoft Authentication as well. As you know, Microsoft used to use in Windows XP the LN hashes, which was not secure, which is now being fixed with Windows Vista and up. What is a rootkit? A rootkit is basically a program which hides themselves into into a drive, and it's usually dangerous. And once you get a rootkit attached to your computer, probably the best way is to format it. Yes, I know there are to do offline scan. Rootkit is very similar to virus, but the difference is rootkit takes control of your operating system. So you might have an antivirus which scans your computer, but let me just show it for you. So this is your operating system, okay? Operating system. Your antivirus is here, and it is checking all these boundaries here. But you might have a boot sector rootkit, which sits in the boot sector before even the operating system starts, which means this antivirus is not going to be able to scan this because it's out of its boundary. So the rootkit is that's why a bit more dangerous. Is it always designed to harm you? No. I don't know if you remember the Sony rootkit. I know sometimes it's hard to follow me, that's why I'm gonna just type it here. Sony rootkit. Sony rootkit, which was detected by Marcus Novich. Marcus Novich, if you watch my offline recording, you will see what kind of wonderful person he is. Basically, Sony was installing a rootkit in each CD-ROM to see what people are using. I think it was back in 2005, which Marcus Novich famous. Okay, I'm just checking. We have only a few more slides, so I know we are a bit over time again, but a few more slides, okay? And then I'm going to answer questions. Okay, what is a DOS attack? A DOS is an attack on a computer or network that reduces or restricts or prevents its legitimate resources. Let me tell you like this. I got a son who's 11 years old. Or even better, I got a daughter which is 7 years old. If I give a knife to my daughter 10, a knife, okay, and I send her to you, said, hey, you, Matthew, for example, or Jay, or Zubair Ahmed, or Chabel, or, anybody, or Gosu Mohammed, or Hariom, or Dominic, or Glenn, hey, you, or probably, James, are you there?
Sorry, yep, I'm here.
Okay, I send my daughter, she's just 7 years old, little cute girl, okay, with a knife, said, hey, you don't know she's my daughter, hey, you, even if you know she's my daughter, give me your wallet. It's a little knife. Will you give you a wallet which has lots of money inside? Let's be honest. Yes or no?
Sorry, what was your question? I think your microphone just went a bit quiet.
My daughter with a knife comes to you and asks you to give your wallet. A robbery, basically. Will you give your wallet?
Yeah.
You look around, there is nobody around. Come on, and you got $10,000 in your wallet.
Oh, I think so. If she's gone to this level of effort, she probably means business.
And you look around, there is nobody around, you are the only person and that girl is the only person. Probably you would not. But let's change the example. I sent 500 kids with a knife. Then you would definitely give a wallet, right? Doesn't matter how much money is inside, because one kid you can push away. Yeah, I know business, but you have to protect the money because that's the money for your operation. Making it up. So that's what a DOS attack is. One little kid by yourself, not strong against you, but too many kids against you, which will probably be able to get the money out of you. Now put in a computer environment. DOS attacks, thank you James, DOS attacks are there to, think about your website. You can handle, let's say, 600 connections. What is if 6,000 people attack? Of course your website is going to be unusable because it's over the bandwidth. Or think about a glass which can hold 230 ml of water. What if you put 235 ml of water? Probably it will overfill. Okay? That's basically what a DOS attack is. DOS can be our bandwidth attack, our storage request flood, our string flooding, our ICMP, P2P, permanent DOS attack, which usually anonymous users. And we have also application of flood attacks. We're not going to talk too much about it because this course is not going into details of that. Again, my blog has, or the Wikipedia has lots of information about this. So don't worry about the terminology. It is just there. It's done in a different way. And it aims the same thing. It aims a distributed DOS attack. It is aimed, for example, they attack PayPal, MasterCard. Before that, what the hacker does, they sometimes use bots. Sometimes they use zombies. What is a zombie? A zombie is a PC which is infected. and which is reporting back to the hacker. Remember I said my daughter by herself, she's just 7 years old. She doesn't know if stealing is good or bad yet. Okay? Probably if I force her, she will do it because she's attached to me. So I'm the bad guy and she's my zombie. She's infected with a bad parent, which is now programmed to steal. By herself, she's not powerful. That's why I organized 500 other kids. In real life, to have a proper DDoS attack, you need at least 20,000 zombies. And you know, sometimes you advertise and get some volunteers. Sometimes you give away free software which has viruses in it and attack. Then we have man-in-the browser attack. Sometimes you notice there are many exams in a browser. What is happening in these browsers? These browsers are basically controlled by these add-ons, and the guy in the middle is just sniffing what you're doing. Very similar to man-in-the-middle attack, which is an attack which is used by a packet sniffer, which is again between the interface between the client and the server, and they're using different methods. Again, I got an offline recording. Promise I know I'm going a bit fast at the moment. Promise I'm gonna explain man-in-the-middle and last few topics in more detail there, and do some demonstrations there. Okay? Is hacking just about computers? No. There are also non-electronic attacks. What is a non-electronic attack? Such as shoulder surfing. I'm pretty sure most of you done shoulder surfing before. Look at, hey, what's the password? Or dumpster diving, or social engineering. So, what is dumpster diving? Do you think big companies will use dumpster diving? Yeah. Do you think they will? Here's an example from the DNet. Oracle MS Flat, how it happened. Oracle hired 2 guys in 2000 to go and check the bins at Microsoft. And the aim was basically to look in the bins and find some information. Here, Time Magazine, by the way, look at this, Time and CSU. This is screenshots from yesterday. The solution is shred. If you work for government, you know what I mean, because by law you have to shred your documents. Okay, what did I cover today? So this is the last one of the last 2 slides. Last week we talked about Wireshark. Here's the URL for you. I did talk about K-Enable. I know I didn't have any demonstrations, but I'm going to have some offline demonstrations. Nmap. I didn't use Nmap directly, but I used Metasploit to use Nmap. John the Ripper, you're going to watch offline recording. Nessus, you're going to watch offline recording. Kismet, later I'm going to cover that. HP Ping, it's one of the good software. TAC.org, a good one. Maltego, last week I talked about it. OpCrack, you're going to watch it in the offline recording, and SysInternals, you're going to watch it in offline recording. Okay? That's what we talked this week. Basically, we talk about boring security policies and the importance of, they might be boring, but very important security policies. Then we talked about threats. We said a threat is an event that harms the system, which leads to an attack, which can damage your system. Then we said we got exploits, which is usually the break point of our security. Then we talked about Trojans, a malicious, which is a malicious program that impressions of a genuine software. We talked about viruses. We said it's a malicious program that replicates itself. We talked about worms. We said it's a malicious program that can't replicate itself without other programs. We talked about spamming, password tracking, sniffing, and DOS attack. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry to rushing up because I think we are around 20 minutes, well, usually 1 hour seminar, 44 minutes over the time. Don't forget, please read the extra materials that we're providing to you. Please watch the demo videos. Please don't forget to build your own lab, because you're responsible in the exam of my demonstrations as well. So I'm not doing it just for fun. I want you to watch it and learn. If you want to hack a website, please use certifiedhacker.com. Please use the forums to ask questions and always smile. If you have any concerns, any feedback, good or bad, please feel free to email me, reach me out directly. Look, we got more than 4,000 people here. I know it's impossible to make each and everybody happy, but trust me, I'm doing my best. If you have any good feedback, please feel free to share it with me, and I will do my best. Thanks for watching the videos, and please feel free to go and share the videos with your friends as well. Yes, we don't mind, as long as it's via the IT Masters website. We don't mind. The more people sign up, the better for us, because we want everybody to know about us. Okay? Actually, I wanted you to use a Twitter hashtag as well, and to show you the power of social media. Probably I'll do this next week, a little bit, before the class. So let's use some Twitter hashtag and show our power. I think today we have few hundred people connected. We got 3,000 people, registered. Altogether, we can bring some noise up. If you got a Facebook page or whatever, we can use the power of social media to launch to make some noise. Anyway, thank you very much for watching the video, and please don't forget to watch the offline recordings. As I said, I make sure you had really cool stuff, and here's the offline recording which I done today, which is 30 minutes, which basically shows. Let me make full screen. Full screen. Disappear. All right. As you can see, I'm just showing you how you can find a virus in your computer. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. James, would you like to quickly read out the questions so I can answer them?
Yep. We're way over time, as you said, so I'll just grab a couple. Sorry to everyone who we can't get to your questions. If you want to post them on the forum, we'd like to have a discussion about them and that sort of thing. I've got one from Daryl Lynch here. It says, how, through with scanning, what's a means of hiding activities such as using proxies and systems like Tor? And conversely, how can you track people that are scanning you?
Okay, this is usually a very good idea to cover a track. Last week I did talk about it a little bit. So if you scan a target, like if you're in a pub, you're looking around, you go, and remember last week I gave the example, the music is on, you talk to a girl, and you talk to her, bam, she slaps you. That's bad. You don't want to get slapped. Your friends will laugh at you. What you do is you send a friend, hey, do you know her? Yes. Does she have a boyfriend? No. Hey, can you go and speak to me? Speak to her about me? Oh, yeah, you use a proxy. If the girl says no, at least you're not going to get slapped. It's going to speak to a friend. Now, put this in a hacking terminology. If you scan with your own IP address, it's very easy logged. What you do is you use Tor, as you said. What is Tor? Tor is a network which is connected to many other computers. Or you use proxies such as Hide My Ass. That's, by the way, the website, hidemyass.com. It's a commercial software. I'm not trying to swear here, okay? Or there are many others. You can use these kinds of tools to hide and make yourself harder caught. Yes. Does that answer the question?
I think so. Thanks, Erdal. Yeah. I'll ask one more question from Erwin.
Okay.
I just like this question. Have you ever caused any outages while scanning the network during a penetration test? Be honest.
Do you want me to be honest, or do you want me to lie? Honestly, yes. I even, I was launching exploits in a server, and this software, Metasploit, it can install the exploit for you, or co-impact, okay? It can install the exploit for you, it can demonstrate it, and it can uninstall it when you're done. Guess what? It couldn't. And it crashed the whole server, actually. And I had to fix it. So, yes, the answer is yes. I have a couple of funny stories like that.
So what's your lesson learned from that?
Lesson learned? Try to use only non-exploits. or do it after hours. And as always, make sure they have a backup. That's the most important thing. Backup, backup, backup. Seriously, I think it happened once in my CH class last semester. I don't know, I think most of you know I do deliver security classes at IT Masters as well. And I do travel a lot. I was, I think, in Erdal in a hotel. And I was using the hotel network. I was just showing students how you can scan computers. It's recorded. I can find, if I can find the recording, I'm going to share it with you. Okay? And during the scan, I just noticed that I could access the hotel server with this vulnerability scanning software. Of course, I stopped it straight away. Things like that happens all the time. You know, luckily, so far I've not been arrested. But I spent hours and hours unpaid to fix my mess up as well. You learn by time. Okay. If I keep talking, promise I can give you 200 more examples. Some of them good, some of them bad. But this is just few of them which I remember straight away. The lying answer, of course, I'm a professional. I make sure that my clients are protected all the time. So I don't use exploits which can harm the software. That's just marketing talk.
Alright, thanks, Erdal. I think we better wrap it up.
Okay, so as I said, I done the wrapping up. You can see my screen is a little bit green, my recording software. Seriously, I've done lots of demos for you. Please go and watch them. And on week 5, you're going to have questions from that recordings as well, because I want to make sure you watch them. Next week, as I said, let's do a challenge, okay? Let's use some hashtags, which we probably, let's go to the form, and let's find the hashtag, and let's try to spam everybody. I don't know how many people are going to be online, but we got 4,000, more than 4,000 people registered to the class. If this 4,000 people uses Twitter, we can probably be a trend topic. Okay? Let's do something fun like this. I don't know if it's a good idea or not. Nothing illegal, you know, just fun. Same, we can do something similar at Facebook as well. Let me just get rid of the screen here. That's annoying me. Yeah, you know, that's my Facebook page. We can go and do some stuff here. By the way, if you're in Manila, Shanghai, or Singapore, or Kuala Lumpur, I'm going to be next month somewhere there. So please keep an eye on the blog so we can meet face to face. January, I think he's also at the moment in the class listening to us because he was making fun of my Taekwondo class yesterday as I wasn't recording videos. Anyway, so let's do something together. I think we can generate some cool stuff. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. I know towards the end I speed up. This class is supposed to be 1 hour. You know, I made it myself 1 hour and 30 minutes, and now today it was 2 hours. First of all, I'm apologizing to James, who's the one who volunteered here and helping me. The rest of you, I'm pretty sure you are enjoying it, or you can watch the recording later. If you're happy, please feel free to email me. If you're not happy, email James. Just joking. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining.
Thanks for all the questions, everyone. Thanks for presenting, Erdal.
It was a pleasure. See you all next week. I'm stopping the recording now. And if you got any offline questions, I'm more than happy to talk to you as well offline. Bye-bye. All right, guys, recording is done. So, James, I know you have to go. If you need to go, you can go. If there is any questions, this is the question screen. It's a bit small.